All right, it's coming back. I want to warn you, everybody's going to be cold on the East Coast because the Polar Vortex is coming next week, according to AccuWeather, which I guess usually is accurate. The Polar Vortex is going to be a big disruption in Atlanta and Nashville. In Minneapolis, you know, they know how to deal with this, but that disruption is really related to climate change. More and more, we know that the melting ice cap on the North Pole makes the vortex weaker and makes it a lot more susceptible to be diverted by other airstream. So following on the gentleman from NASA this morning, I really believe climate change is our top priority, how to mitigate that, and we in the power industry can do it better than others. And kind of the vortex of change is based on that. I don't know how to use this, right? So in addition to these small storms, we actually caught in a perfect storm of workforce challenges, security, regulation, energy efficiency, and renewables, all coming together at the same time. And the way I look at workforce challenges is you got to get new young talent into the power industry. And you're not going to get them by telling them, come help us burn more coal, pollute the air, contribute to climate change, right? You're going to get them by telling them, we're here to change the world, to save the planet, to bring solar and wind to reality. And you still have them working with old equipment. You can't avoid that. But if you give them nice tools to work on old equipment, you probably will retain them and excite them. Number one challenge, by far, because once you solve that challenge, the rest, I think, follows. Security, this is more than just being compliant to NERC SIP. It's becoming the brand of security. A utility should be relied upon, should be the trusted partner. Regulation, you know, if you want to change the regulator mindset of driving costs down on you know, rate case bureaucracy, again, show the change, show the motivation to address the big problem of climate change. Energy efficiency, it's all about how do you generate more revenue, and it goes back to the regulator, allowing you to do so by helping people saving energy. And renewable, same story, how do you generate more revenue by integrating more renewable instead of resisting it, you know, embrace it. All this is possible. You do need to orchestrate a digital disruption in your business. And after 20 years, more or less, in the traditional IT/OT world, I decided to join Intel, a technology company. So I've worked on metering, SCADA, you know, all kinds of system protection and control. And what I saw Intel trying to do, which is drive the vortex of change in energy, not just bringing new technology, but really changing the world of digital businesses, I got really excited. The idea is that you have three main big topics: digital convergence, cloud analytics, mobile, and social. You know, instead of using YouTube to watch video cats or Facebook to post every intimate aspect of your social life, let's use these things for real useful things like saving the planet. So digital convergence, we got lucky because those new businesses, those new, let's say, habits created this fantastic platform. Let's use it for our industry. Second, software-defined infrastructure. Again, Apple showed the way. This is about, you know, a device can do a lot more things by downloading applications. So transform your hard-coded firmware type device into a software platform. Of course, running on Intel, it's even better. And then finally, the unstoppable rise of sharing economy. You know, Uber is an example. Airbnb actually speaks more to me because I was actually thinking of buying a condo in Florida and never did it because, you know, what do I do all year with it? Airbnb opens the door. It opens the monetization of these assets that every one of us maybe want to own. So of course in energy, if there's an easy way to transact the energy I produce at my business, in my factory, or on my roof, I am convinced that we will get to the 80% by 2050. And by the way, 80% of 2050, to me, it's a given. Because think about it, 35 years ago, 1980, you know, I was in high school, I didn't have a PC, no internet. 35 years from now, 2050, you can imagine how far we would be in all this stuff. And for cities like Boston to say we want to be 80% renewable by 2050, I think that's the right vision, and it's a realistic vision. So we need to get started. You need to drive your IT department, your OT department into a transformative business outcomes by combining all 6 aspects of the digital disruption. Big data. First, big data has been used for historical analysis, offline. You know, I want to understand what happened. I want to correlate data from different sources and see if I can make a conclusion. Now, big data should become more of a real-time tool, streaming data, doing analytics on the fly, and really driving operation performance as you go. Of course, to get there, you need to connect the world. You need to connect the unconnected, and that's the whole topic of Internet of Things. Again, let's use the Internet as the platform to connect the unconnected. I'll come back to that next. Cloud, we heard already today, utilities are finally moving. It's not just email, it's not just, you know, business process outsourcing. Some utilities actually are using a cloud-based system to do their backup control center. Okay, as you know, EMS are required by rule to be 1 hour away. Physical implementation, well, put it in the cloud. It will work. I am a believer that, you know, real-time system can be in the cloud, and your IT department now becomes focused on the next topic, which is trust. Every IT employee should be working on cybersecurity. That's the priority. Not to manage servers, not to manage patches. Really make sure that everything from the device all the way to the cloud is secure, and that you maintain your brand and you can advertise your brand as a secure company. Connected experience, it's about using some of the cool stuff. 3D, virtual reality, multimedia, social networks to attract and retain employees, but also to please your customers. There's no reason why when I walk into my car, my phone pair automatically via Bluetooth to my radio system, so I can speak to anybody in my car hands-free, and I don't have to do anything. Why, when I walk into my home, cannot my phone pair with my meter and then suddenly get through an app a lot of information that maybe I'm interested in? Right now, I don't know if I'm interested because this is not possible. I get a letter bill. It's even worse than that. I get an automatic draft on my bank account. I have no clue what my utility is doing. Walk through the home, get paired with the meter. And so connected experience, both for the employee. We talked about smart field worker, where you have tele-expertise, you have augmented reality. Moving on, we did a nice experiment recently with a utility in the UK, having connected knee pad to really monitor how many times the workers knee down, and really motivated by injuries in the back. So a lot of things like that will make the work easier, safer, and at the end, reduce cost. Finally, innovative workforce. It's all together. It's the client that you offer, the tools that you offer to your employees should facilitate collaboration, sharing information, fun. Again, this is where, as you know, Intel plays a lot in the consumer market. Some of that stuff that's fun can be definitely used in the enterprise to make your work easier and more fun. So back to connected world. How do you connect the unconnected, particularly in the energy industry? We recommend a step-by-step approach. we have a lot of legacy device, legacy protocols. So you first connect things via gateways. We are working on the next generation sensors that will allow to be connected directly to the cloud. So that's coming. But right now, get connected. Don't touch anything except connect to gateways that will allow you to bring data more in real time and then bring data into information by reusing a lot of the applications you already have. A lot of utilities have invested a lot of money in asset management, DMS, load forecasting. A lot of analytics sit there, but it's not connected to the real-time streaming of data. So one easy way to do it is to abstract the protocol layers down to the device and make everything look like a internet object. I refer to these gateways kind of tweeting or streaming up to the cloud the information. So Intel is building a IoT platform, which is really the plumbing that people will need to scale this data architecture. Starting with security as a foundation, moving to how do you connect and manage those devices. So we're talking about those same principles used in the enterprise where you can manage laptop remotely. Now you can manage device remotely, send a patch, upgrade, monitor the health of these devices. So as you start deploying thousands of these devices in a distribution grid, for example, or on roofs of people with solar panel, you have an easy way to maintain this huge population of devices. Data normalization, it's a complex topic. It's about standardization, contextualization, meaning the data that comes to the cloud needs to carry itself the context. So it's not anymore current is 3 amps. It's current on feeder A, phase B is 3 amps at 3:30 p.m. That self-described stream now can be used by many systems that needs to decode it, but you don't need another system to correlate, or what time was it, where was it, and so forth. So this whole concept of data normalization, so that the same source of data can be used and consumed by many consumer of data systems, is important. And again, that's part of the industry consortium. We have a IoT consortium, IIoC, promoting these concepts beyond the standardization and interoperability. And the last thing we're working on is accelerated analytics. Really, the value of analytics is in the data science. It's when you put a domain expert on an analytic platform that can really think about the data. The value of analytics is not when you ask a data scientist to figure out how to put up a Hadoop system, how to connect the database to another database, how to build a visual diagram. That's not value. So all the underlying tools, of course, high-performance tools that are required to bring data scientists to life is what Intel is building. Again, directly connected to this pre-integrated IoT platform. So this is exciting. I give you a very clear example to, again, make you think about. This is applying IoT to smart grid. So here I'm in the distribution grid. I see a lot of prosumers. It could be a home, could be a building, could be a factory putting a microgrid. So all these prosumers have different systems, and of course every vendors or service provider from those systems want to have a data pipe. They want to provide their software. So you end up having a multitude of systems, and it's not sustainable. In Germany, a lot of houses have 3 meters on their house. Retailer, distributor, and the solar panel guy. So what we're thinking is that an IoT gateway that consolidate this data at the house, at the premise, building or factory, will be the data concentrator there. Then you have other gateways on the grid, and actually some of those gateways in substation could be what we call edge servers, meaning they do processing, they do local control. Voltage, as everybody knows in this room, is a local phenomenon. You can control it and optimize it locally. You don't have to bring it back to the control center. So you bring down your DMS application to the edge to the substation, and you run on an IoT edge server. And then finally, the utility becomes a data service provider using a big data environment for its own system, but as well as for all the stakeholders, the service providers, the market regulators, etc. So this architecture means that you think in terms of data architecture, you don't think in terms of smart grid architecture or AMI architecture or energy automation architecture. It's a data architecture that works for the grid. And that's really what I wanted to share with you today. 3 main questions. Which area of your business are you experiencing the most disruption, and what technology could help? And, if you want to have this discussion, we act as advisors in this whole energy world. How is your company embracing any of the new economy business models, such as prosumers? Are you resisting them, fighting them? Are you ignoring them? Or are you embracing them and including them as part of your active grid management? And what is your strategy to connect the unconnected and drive your business with real-time data? Keyword here is real-time. That's all I had. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. I have a quick question for you before we let you off. So you talked about platform economics, something that Anne Pramaggiore really talked a lot about earlier today. Or just a platform. IoT can be this new platform. And I think people are this Captain Obvious, but like, what's that beachhead look like? You also brought up modern governance and accounting, distributed logic, remote decision-making, situational awareness, and all of that sort of fits in, but how does that all fit in to this new platform? Like, how does all of this, what are the opportunity multipliers that you're tying together that really make this that potent opportunity?
Well, I mean, again, step by step, it's a lot of concepts together.
Yeah.
The platform can be very simple, again, more of a device platform, a gateway,
okay,
or could be a comprehensive end-to-end solution where a lot of people pitch in. My experience is you first solve a very specific problem.
Yes.
So let's say in Europe, for example, the low voltage grid is not monitored today. Mm-hmm. They have no clue what the next day forecast will be because
they don't even know the cost of outages then on those kind of situations?
Well, outages, yeah, and then more importantly, they don't know if they're going to hit a reverse peak due to solar, or they're going to be having a shortage. So what they do is they buy a lot of reserve just in case.
Sure, over the 10% we do in the US.
Right.
Wow, okay.
So it's an immediate opportunity on which you can base your IoT strategy. I'm going to digitize my low voltage grid, my secondary substation. I'm going to target the load forecasting. So I'm going to bring a SAS Institute analytics tool, for example, do some load forecasting, and then build on it.
Yeah. Step
by step. Otherwise, nobody wants to touch it. It's too complicated.
So here's your technical and interoperability expert, obviously. Thierry, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Everyone, Thierry Godart. Thank you.
Thank you.